Most think the supplier question is about cost, but it isn't, and the businesses that get this wrong only find out when it's already too late to fix. The direct answer is this: the right number of suppliers for any category is not determined by cost, preference, or a blanket diversification policy. It's determined by one question. If this supplier disappeared tomorrow, could your business recover within a week? That's the recovery test, and it's the only filter that matters. If the answer is yes, single source is a perfectly reasonable default. You get simpler management, stronger negotiating leverage, and a tighter relationship. But if that answer is no, that category needs a backup, regardless of what it costs. The mistake most businesses make is applying the same approach across every category. Some inputs are genuinely low risk and others are quietly load-bearing. And that recovery test is what separates them. So, what actually makes a category critical? A supplier relationship is critical if losing it would halt your operations or damage a customer commitment within a short space of time. Not weeks, but days. Think about a manufacturer relying on a single component supplier. If that supplier goes down, the production line stops, customer orders slip, contracts get breached. That's a critical category. Now, contrast that with, say, office stationery. If your stationery supplier disappeared, you'd find an alternative by Thursday. It's not critical. The distinction isn't about spend or volume, it's about recovery time and downstream consequence. According to the UK government's Supply Chain Foresight report, risks are concentrated in critical nodes and disruption propagates through the network far beyond the original failure point. So the question isn't how likely a disruption is, it's how badly would it hurt if one happened. The most common reason businesses stay single source in risky categories is cost. A second supplier could mean split volumes, less leverage, and more admin. And of course, that logic isn't wrong, but it is incomplete. Think of it as insurance. You don't insure your office building because a fire is likely. You insure it because the cost of not insuring it, if a fire happens, is catastrophic. A backup supplier in a critical category works the same way. The ongoing cost of maintaining that relationship is typically a fraction of what a single serious disruption would cost you in lost revenue, broken contracts, or emergency sourcing. The real question isn't whether a second supplier costs more, it's whether that cost is lower than the risk you're currently carrying. So don't start with a full supplier audit. That's a big project and it'll probably stall. Start with one question. Which single input, if it failed tomorrow, would hurt you the most? Identify that category and apply the recovery test. If you couldn't recover within a period of time that's important to you, you have a concentration risk that needs addressing. Then make one decision. Do you qualify a backup supplier, hold a safety stock, or accept the risk knowingly? Any of those is a valid choice, but what isn't valid is not having an answer. So, the rule is simple. Single source, where recovery is fast and consequences are low. Dual source, where a failure would halt operations or break a customer commitment. Start with your most critical category, and not all of them at once. If that was of value, subscribe to the channel for one real business question answered every video. For the same clarity in writing, the website and newsletter is 5minutebusiness.com.